Alright, I'm not a troll, I'm not a stan, I'm not a hater, I'm just a fragrance enthusiast. So with that being said, please do not lynch me for what I have to say about this fragrance. Hey Fora, Manny back here with another video on the CascadeScents Fragrance Station, and this one is a review, again, on Office for Men by Fragrance One, Jeremy Fragrance. As always, 500 likes and a random subscriber in the comments will be the lucky recipient of an assorted niche fragrance sample pack, so please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you've yet to if you want to be eligible. And if you want to be amongst the first to get on these giveaways ASAP, if not hopefully awesome fragrance content, please be sure to hit the notification bell if you've yet to. But for now, we do have something big here. Again, this is Office for Men by Fragrance One, Jeremy Fragrance, of course. If you've yet to catch my initial reactions to this fragrance, I'll leave a link to them in the description below if you want to check that out. But for now, I'm going to try to do this as formally as possible because it is my full review. So without further ado, let's get to the first category, and that is scent. Scent-wise, Office for Men is kind of what it says it is. It's a masculine fragrance that is very safe enough for the office, of course. So you have this bright bergamot opening that I wish lasted longer, but it doesn't. It's also not as juicy or sharp as things like you'd find in Dylan Blue or Sauvage, fragrances like that, for example. But it's serviceable enough for this kind of fragrance. It makes sense because you want an inviting opening because it's going to make way for inviting elements that you've yet to get to. And you're going to get to them ASAP because for me, at least it got to me ASAP. Like 2 minutes in, we're talking ambroxan balm. And if you don't know what ambroxan is, it's a primary ingredient in fragrances like, again, Sauvage, Dylan Blue, things like that. And it's supposed to be like this imitation version of ambergris. And if you don't know what ambergris is, it's kind of like this musky, ambery type of note that comes from whale vomit, believe it or not. But when manipulated in this contemporary, modern day cologne type of way, it smells really good and inviting. And for the most part here, it's no different. It's definitely going to get you noticed if people are in your scent bubble. However, for me, it does kind of come off as darker, believe it or not, because this stuff is not just aquatic in a marine, ambery, musky type of way. It's also super woody in an almost earthy / dark way off of my skin. I definitely get what they advertise as cachalox within the note breakdown, which I believe is a more darker, woodier version of ambergris, or sorry, ambroxan. And whatever this intense modern wood is in the dry down with the patchouli and musk, I definitely get that too. So for the most part, this stuff is a bergamot opening with a lot of ambroxan that kind of comes off as showery for the most part, but not soapy in a shower gel type of way that some people would characterize this as some of those other contemporaries. Again, for me, it takes this darker, earthy, woodier approach that I don't often see in some of those fragrances I aforementioned. So in that regard, at least off of me, I think that's kind of unique because I expected this to be a more bluer type of fragrance. But still though, despite how pleasant it is and how kind of unique it is, I'd still say Jeremy's not reinventing the wheel whatsoever. It's pleasant, it's safe, it's not completely redundant, but for the most part, as far as the ingredients used, I'd say it's just above average as far as what you typically find on the designer level. But the reason why I'm kind of cool with its evaluation, which I'll get to in the value category later, is because of this category right here, and that is performance. Performance-wise, off my skin is actually super good. We're talking at least 10 hours of longevity, and as far as projection goes, we're talking more than the arm's length for at least 2 or 3. Like, people were definitely noticing me in their scent bubble. I can just tell by their faces if they didn't actually say something about my fragrance. So yeah, I think if you are into a performance ambroxan balm, then this might be the scent for you. But as far as versatility goes, which I'm about to get to, I think this, which is called Office for Men, is not that office-like. It's a little too much for me because, again, I don't want to actually project too much with an office fragrance. Something closer to the skin, something that I am known to use, like Bleu de Chanel or Platinum Egoist, I think would be perfect for the office. This more than surpasses those kind of fragrances as far as projections. So if that's what you're into, that's fine. My office type of environments are typically scentless, so I don't think I can rock this for me. I do understand though that some people have had mixed results with this kind of performance though, sometimes on the weaker or average side, and maybe for you, this would be the perfect performance balm. Sorry, not balm, but option, and maybe that is for you, because maybe it'll be as appropriate for you as I mentioned with maybe Platinum Egoist or Bleu de Chanel for me. But speaking of that office category, here we go with versatility. So barring what I mentioned with the office, what else can I use this for? We're talking a date, maybe something casual, or maybe something formal. Formal, I'm probably going to lean towards something more magnanimous, maybe like an Aventus or maybe a 40 Knots by Xerjoff, for example, because this is so casual, it just comes off as Daily Driver written all over it, that I wouldn't feel too special rocking this this personally. You know, if I was the type of person to rotate fragrances, which I am. But if you're that one cologne type of guy, this might be an awesome option for you because it's not going to completely fail at anything. It's just going to be serviceable at a lot of things. One of those things is potentially a date. And with that being said, we have the feedback category now. Yeah, my one boss actually really liked this off of me. She actually asked me what it was, and I told her how she could get it. And of course, she really can't because of the fact that this was a Kickstarter back project. A Kickstarter back project that is now available for blind buy off of the Fragrance One site. So the people who've asked me about this have not been too thrilled about having to blind buy the scent because it's not like your Givenchy or Dior's, your Versace, where you can just pull up to a department store, spray some on and see if it's for you like that. But again, this is the risk you're willing to take as a fragrance enthusiast on the internet nowadays. Other than that, a real big testament to its performances that actually showed up at my one friend's underground poker game, believe it or not. And at the poker table, dudes were just sitting there maybe 10-12 feet away from the entrance when I just walked in. And upon putting my coat away, still 10 feet away from me, one of my mates actually asked me what I smelled like because he said it was incredible. So I think that's really good for projection again, and as well as that really friendly scent character. So salute to Fragrance One as far as feedback. There's nothing to complain about here. It's not as stellar head over heels as far as some of my other compliment getters in recent years. But yeah, I'd still say that this is maybe top 25. To be fair though, a lot of my friends do wear a lot of fragrances as well. I feel like people in more metropolitan areas, kind of like me, will actually have a decent amount of experience for fragrance that they don't like to give themselves credit for. So stuff that kind of comes off as Sauvage or Bleu de Chanel like typically isn't going to blow anyone's socks off, mainly because we smell that stuff all the time. So I'm still surprised that this got a super good reaction for what it is in my opinion, and I think it could be attributed to how woody it is like I mentioned previously. So in that case, good on you, Jeremy Fragrance. That being said, with everything being said, we're going to get to the value category here. Lastly, is this worth it? In my opinion, for the evaluation I paid for it in the pre-sale for Kickstarter at 110 euros, I have to say it is. It checks a lot of the boxes for the type of person who is going to wear this scent. Someone who's not going to have a lot of fragrances to rotate through and just needs a daily driver will want that longevity, will want some projection, will want some positive feedback and some versatility. And I think that you have a little bit of everything here. Again, it kind of succeeds a little too much as far as the office fragrance kind of thing with the versatility category, because for me, it's a little bit too much. But again, to my knowledge, not everyone has that kind of fortunate skin chemistry I do. So for maybe you, I can definitely see this being worth it, you know, for your office. So again, as a result for everything there, this fragrance gets a thumbs up. However, and this is a big however, we're going to do two ratings here because there's what I paid for this and there's what this is going for right now. After the pre-sale of this Kickstarter back fragrance, Office for Men now goes for 175 euros. Literally, that's more than a 50% increase price jump wise. And at that price point, I just feel like it's too egregious, to be honest. Usually at a niche price point like that, I'm looking for something with a little bit more pizzazz, a little bit more uniqueness in comparison to everything else designer wise. Now I did mention that this is unique in the fact that it's woodier than all of the other Ambroxan bombs, but for 175 euros, it's definitely not unique enough for me. If we're going to take a look at European MSRP, for example, I might as well just pay another 19 euro and buy 100 ml of Ventus. That or buy 2 Sauvages or 2 Dylan Blues or something like that. For that, this fragrance gets a thumbs down at 175 euro. But as far as potential saving grace as to why you might think that this could be worth it at that price point, I'd say the primary reason to why you might like it for that price point is nothing to do with the upcoming presentation or anything like that. It's more so to do with the man himself, Jeremy Fragrance. At the end of the day, fragrances are emotional, and to look at things with this value proposition, believe it or not, should take the fun out of it for a lot of people. So with another 65 euro on top of all of this, I think why you're going into this and buying it anyway is again because of Jeremy. If it means something to you to have something from potentially your favorite YouTuber ever and or the highest crowdfunded fragrance in history, then yeah, maybe you can find some solace in that price point. I personally can't get behind that. That's just my honest opinion. But with all that being said, I still think it's really cool that he experienced all the success with his first fragrance release as far as the pre-orders and whatnot and what's to come with this second wave of sales. We'll see. Again, you know how I feel. Thumbs up at 110 before shipping, thumbs down at 175 before shipping. But it is what it is. But at this point of the video, I'd like to know what you guys have to say about this fragrance right here, Office for Men by Fragrance One, Jeremy Fragrance. So please let me know in the comment section below. As always, 500 likes and a random subscriber in the comments will be the lucky recipient of a assorted niche fragrance sample pack. So again, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you've yet to. It really helps me out, and this is just a great way for me to give back to YouTube. Until then, thank you for the ongoing support, and take care, peace out, bye. Wear your fragrances.